In a quiet Michigan suburb where doors were never locked, a trusted pastor was hiding a terrifying secret. This story takes place in a quiet Michigan suburb where neighbors trusted each other implicitly and doors stayed unlocked through the night without a second thought. Everyone knew John White's face well throughout that small community. He was the beloved pastor who baptized newborn infants and counseled grieving widows with genuine seeming compassion that touched many hearts. But beneath that gentle exterior and those kind eyes that crinkled when he smiled, he harbored dark sexual fantasies that had already sent him to prison years earlier for violent attacks on women. The justice system believed he had genuinely reformed after finding religion behind bars. They were tragically mistaken in that assessment. On Halloween night 2012, those long suppressed fantasies finally erupted with devastating consequences that would shatter multiple families. A young mother named Rebecca Gay would never see her son grow up or walk her little boy to school. Her boyfriend would never get to propose marriage as he had planned. Her mother would never hold her again or hear her laugh. An entire community would learn that the most dangerous predators often hide behind masks of respectability, serving communion on Sunday morning while planning unspeakable acts in the darkness of their own disturbed minds. Rebecca Gay entered the world on March 26, 1988, born to Thomas and Sally Gay in Midland, Michigan, as their cherished daughter. Her father, Thomas, commanded deep respect throughout the community as a horse training expert who co-founded charity events benefiting children's hospitals and sick kids. He taught his children through quiet daily example about faith, hard work, and genuine compassion for others less fortunate. Rebecca absorbed every lesson completely, developing into a gentle soul with remarkable empathy that touched everyone she met throughout her life. Her childhood unfolded in that safe, small-town rhythm where everyone knew everyone's name and looked out for each other's children instinctively. She played outside with siblings until dark, attended church faithfully every Sunday without fail, and stood out for her natural kindness that seemed effortless. But then Thomas fell incurably ill and entered hospice care, forcing Rebecca to watch her beloved father fade away day by painful day while still navigating the challenges of high school and figuring out who she wanted to become. Even as her father declined steadily, Rebecca continued building the life he had taught her to value above all else through his example. She stayed active in school activities and volunteered for community charities regularly, carrying forward his legacy without any fanfare or attention to herself. After graduating in 2007, she enrolled in cosmetology school and began a serious relationship with a young man named Chad Sando, who seemed promising. She completed her program successfully and found work at a Mount Pleasant salon, doing what she loved every day. Meanwhile, her mother Sally struggled terribly after Thomas finally passed away and left her alone. For the first time in decades, Sally faced empty rooms and heavy silence constantly. She turned to online dating, seeking conversation rather than romance, someone to fill the void. She moved to a mobile home in Broomfield Valley and eventually connected with a man named John Douglas White from Augusta, Michigan, who would soon become a permanent fixture in her daily life and routine without anyone suspecting his true nature. John White moved in with Sally and became pastor at the local church where she taught Sunday school to young children every week. The community embraced him warmly as a gentle soul who had found his way to faith after difficult times in his past. Mount Pleasant offered peaceful, rural life with scenic farms and quiet countryside where nothing much ever happened to disturb the calm. Meanwhile, Rebecca discovered she was pregnant and named her baby boy Connor with overwhelming joy and hope. She and Chad tried to make their relationship work for the baby's sake, but couldn't sustain it under mounting pressure. Motherhood transformed Rebecca completely, while Chad simply couldn't handle the responsibility or adjust. They separated amicably, and Rebecca faced raising Connor alone. Yet she never complained once about her circumstances. She simply adjusted and kept moving forward steadily, grateful for her son and determined to give him everything he needed, despite the obvious challenges of single parenthood and limited finances. Rebecca rented a mobile home in the same Broomfield Valley Park where her mother lived with John, just across the road from each other. Having family just steps away gave her genuine peace of mind every single day, knowing help was near. She and Connor visited almost every evening without fail for dinner together. John cooked for them, played with the little boy constantly, and helped with childcare responsibilities whenever needed. He drove Connor to daycare and watched him whenever Rebecca worked late shifts at the store. He seemed to genuinely love having a real family again after whatever difficulties marked his earlier years before meeting Sally and settling down. Rebecca trusted him completely without reservation or suspicion. She found work at a retail store in Mount Pleasant and quickly moved up to management through hard work and dedication. Then she met Aaron Quinn, who treated Connor as his own child from day one without hesitation. Aaron loved Rebecca deeply and was already planning to propose when the time felt exactly right for both of them. By autumn of 2012, Rebecca had finally built exactly the life she had always wanted for herself and her son. Connor was 3 years old now, at that magical age where every single day brings new discoveries and wonder to innocent eyes. Halloween approached and Rebecca could barely contain her excitement at all as the date neared. It had been her absolute favorite holiday since childhood memories of running through neighborhoods collecting candy. They picked out a perfect Spider-Man costume together with great care and anticipation. She bought 8 scarecrows for the yard and decorated with pumpkins and fake cobwebs covering everything. The night before Halloween, she was home alone with Connor, buzzing with anticipation constantly about tomorrow. She called her mom and Aaron just to share her joy about the next day's plans repeatedly. She was genuinely happy, full of positive energy, completely focused on her son's first Halloween experience ever as a family. Nobody who spoke to her that night had any idea she would never live to see the holiday morning arrive at all. October 31st arrived, but Rebecca never showed up for work at the store at all that morning. She never missed shifts and never failed to call her manager when something came up. Her boss sent a coworker to check on her immediately at home. The trailer was locked securely with no answer coming. But in a nearby bar parking lot, they spotted Rebecca's light blue Buick sitting there abandoned. There was no reason for it to be there whatsoever under any circumstances. The bartender hadn't seen her inside at all that night or morning. The trailer park owner unlocked the door for them to enter. Inside, they found Rebecca's favorite purse open on the kitchen table where she left it behind. She never went anywhere without that purse, ever, at any time. But Rebecca herself was completely gone, without trace or explanation. Sally and John rushed over immediately in panic. Neighbors gathered outside, whispering and wondering constantly about what happened. Around noon, the family reported her missing officially to authorities who responded. Police decided to wait until 4:30 when Rebecca was supposed to pick up Connor without fail from his father. Those 4.5 hours cost precious time they could have used gathering evidence while it remained fresh. When she didn't appear, officers obtained a search warrant immediately and entered. Inside the trailer, they found no forced entry anywhere, but Rebecca's keys and phone were completely missing without explanation. Then they noticed a patch of hallway carpet that looked recently cleaned with something suspicious. Dark streaks stained the fibers underneath unmistakably. Tiny blood droplets marked one wall clearly visible. Faint splatters appeared on kitchen cabinets and a doorknob nearby. The cheerful home became a crime scene instantly with yellow tape. In her car, the driver's seat was pushed way back, impossible for short Rebecca to reach properly while driving. The car was tucked near trees like someone tried to hide it deliberately from view. Police now had no doubt a violent crime had occurred here and began treating it as such. The first suspects were Chad Sando and Aaron Quinn. the men closest to Rebecca romantically in her life. Both had solid alibis confirmed by others without question. Aaron had been planning to propose on Halloween night and was genuinely devastated by her disappearance beyond words. Police cleared them both completely from suspicion. That left John White, the last person to see Rebecca alive that fatal morning. His story seemed reasonable enough until detectives noticed fresh scratches on his nose and hands, marks that looked exactly like defensive wounds from a violent struggle. He explained a shelf had fallen on him during home repairs recently. They accepted it for now, but remained suspicious. However, interviews revealed much more over time as they dug deeper. Rebecca's co-workers said she mentioned John made her deeply uncomfortable repeatedly. Aaron described him as borderline obsessed, showing up at her job uninvited constantly. John's sister said he complained Rebecca abandoned him after meeting Aaron, sounding genuinely bitter about it all. Police asked John to take a polygraph examination immediately, given the mounting evidence. He hesitated noticeably until Sally convinced him the test would prove his innocence completely once and for all. On the drive to the testing center, a detective made small talk casually, trying to put him at ease naturally during the ride. The tactic worked better than anyone could have imagined possible under the circumstances. Before even reaching the polygraph machine, John started opening up about his hidden past voluntarily without prompting. He confessed to crimes no one in his new life knew about at all, ever. These weren't minor mistakes or youthful indiscretions as he had claimed. He had been convicted of attempted murder decades earlier, stabbing a teenage girl 15 times in his basement after luring her there with a model car racetrack. He had served prison time for manslaughter in another woman's suspicious death later on. The gentle pastor hiding behind that kind smile had a documented history of violence against women stretching back decades without interruption or reform, despite claiming religion changed him.